most people are taught, say it with me, you know, just like nonpartisan, that the most important constitutional decision ever, Mrs. McGillicuddy taught you in 8th grade, was Marbury versus Madison, right? Now, Marbury is not, in my view, barely makes my top 10 constitutional decisions. Yes, there's judicial review, but judicial review was established actually in America before Marbury. States were doing this, and as a matter of state constitutional law, way before Marbury. And after Marbury, the next time the US Supreme Court strikes down an act of Congress, which is what Marbury is all about, is until Dred Scott, you know, 60 years later and 50 years later, and Dred Scott is all made up. And, and what's the issue of liberty involved in Marbury? There is no issue of liberty. It's about original versus appellate jurisdiction, and nothing could be, you know, more boring than that. I wrote a whole article about it, and it bores even me. So Marbury is not that big. What is the most important constitutional decision ever? I told you the first two, because I didn't say constitutional case. I said constitutional decision. The most important constitutional decision was Lincoln's decision to resist unilateral secession, and later to free the slaves. So those are the big ones, okay? Now, once you understand that, I say that Marbury wasn't even the most important constitutional decision of 1803. And what was? Well, your audience member knows. The most important constitutional decision of 1803 is called the Louisiana Purchase. Presidents are huge constitutional decision makers. Even if you think judges are important, judges, I mean, in the Constitution, presidents pick judges, and judges aren't supposed to pick presidents. But see Bush v. Gore, and I have a chapter on why that was an outrage, a disgrace, a shonda, because actually judges were picking presidents rather than the other way around. I have a chapter on Florida and Bush versus Gore. So 1803 is a very big, Louisiana Purchase, that's big. Our friend Joe Biden would say that's can I say it on C-SPAN, BFD. And that's because
at the Constitution Center.
Okay, oops. But that doubles the land mass of America. It ensures that we're going to survive as a nation, that even if Washington, D.C. is burned to the ground and Baltimore and Fort McHenry almost falls, we can just retreat back, you know, into the hinterlands, you know, sufficiently because we have all this land to retreat back into. So it, in effect, ensures that the French aren't going to establish a toehold here, or the Spanish. We've kicked the British out. The Louisiana Purchase is a very big deal, and it's all about geography. It opens up, eventually, you know, pathways to Texas and California, from sea to shining sea. This book is very much in the Woody Guthrie a tradition of, you know, California to the New York Island. Yes, Louisiana Purchase. And Jefferson, his principles are strict construction, but thank God he actually is a hypocrite. He doesn't follow his principles because he would have been a fool not to grab, you know, all this territory. So yes, great presidents make important constitutional decisions that determine whether we exist as a nation. Louisiana Purchase, very big. Emancipation Proclamation, very big. Lincoln's decision to resist unilateral secession, very big. Marbury versus Madison, much smaller.